Most people with tight hip flexor muscles like the psoas don't realize that they oftentimes have weak hip flexor muscles. So they try to stretch them out all day long, but they don't see the results they're looking for reducing tension in that area. A big reason why is that these muscles are chronically weak and unable to control the hip through a full range of motion. Now, it is true that many times people with tight hip flexors are stuck in a position of anterior pelvic tilt where their pelvis is tilted forward like this. This does shorten aspects of the hip flexors like the psoas. However, the psoas is responsible for creating hip flexion. A position of anterior pelvic tilt is hip flexion. For the psoas to work properly, it needs to contract from a position of hip extension when the leg is behind the body. In the gait cycle, this works when the leg is behind the body and there's a stretch on the psoas to cue it to swing the leg through. So what we should be doing is restoring the ability of the hip to extend and then training the psoas through a full range of motion of hip extension to hip flexion. So first, restore hip extension with something like this. Get in this position and pull one leg back and hug the back of the hamstring so there's no pinch in the hip, you're just pulling it back a little bit. Feel these 3 points of contact on the wall. Now imagine your spine is a piece of Velcro and you're lifting one vertebrae at a time off of the ground with each exhale through your mouth. Inhale, hold that position. Exhale, go up a little bit further and keep doing this until if you were to go up any higher, your ribs would flare, your back would arch. And then just stop at that point or before it and then go back down and keep going through reps of this. At the end range, you should feel a stretch in your hip flexor and some glute working on that side. After that, follow it up with full range of motion training such as this. Get a band or ideally a cable attached at the top of your ankle. And now bring your leg back, stopping at the point where if you went back any further, your back would arch. This is your end range of hip extension. Now you should have a nice stretch on that hip flexor and holding on to something for external stability, you're just gonna pull your legs straight up to the ceiling, stopping at the point where if you were to go any higher, you would have to tuck under like this. Now you're genuinely working through those hip flexors in a full range of motion. I recommend doing about 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps a few times a week.